Hi, I'm standing with this gorgeous sculpture of Ravinder Reddy as part of the group show What's in a Face. And as you can see, the sculpture has a radiating golden color to it. The skin tone is quite vibrant, dynamic golden color. Apart from that, you can also see the characteristic features of Ravinder Reddy's sculpture. Usually the facial features are adorned with jewelry. So there is a nose ring, there are the earrings, and again, one of the most prominent features are the elaborate headgears, again adorned with flowers. And in this case, we have these very beautiful pink champa flowers. And again, there is this elaborate head bun, or that particular way you wrap the bun in the hair, again decorated with these beautiful tiny golden flowers in a bluish kind of background. We all know Ravinder Reddy is again one of the most prominent Indian sculptors who has been very faithful to the form of sculpting and has been globally recognized as one of the most important contemporary artists who has made a significant shift or a paradigm shift in the way sculpture is produced and sculpture appears. And in the 70s, he infused sculpture with color, but also brought a different kind of subject domain to the sculptural practice, which is to bring working class women from the marginalized background and lower class backgrounds to as the sculptural characters. Here we have again a very good, perfect, recent example of Reddy's practice, where it's a bronze sculpture and there is a prominent frontal facial figure standing here. The cheeks are quite robust, and the facial features are also very interestingly angular in the sense the nose is quite sharp, so it is not curvy in that way. So these are some of the sculptural liberties also the artist takes, and the drama of the sculpture, the facial feature, is heightened by the eyebrows and this wide open eyes that looks at the viewer quite intensely. And I think that's where the color of the sculpture also adds to the quality of the entire drama, where you're looking at this shining, shimmering head in front of you, and also with these prominent features that is staring at you, and you just get overwhelmed by it and you just get absorbed by the sheer drama of the sculpture. So again, there's a lot to think about the faces, that how much the frontal face is an important feature in Ravinder Reddy's work, but also is used to highlight and foreground drama, identity, and also the subjective nature, which is usually hidden inside, which is not expressed, how it gets articulated through these facial features and these exaggerated expressions. And as you know, a characteristic Ravinder Reddy sculpture has to be seen by kind of circumambulating. So you get a beautiful view of these champa flowers and the headgear or the headband that is there. It's a deep, gorgeous blue color that we are seeing here. And again, like the early sculpture, the golden one which we saw, the facial feature here is quite dramatic. And it's again then foregrounded and highlighted through the red lips. And also this kind of fleshy features within the eye that he has created for this particular sculpture. I'll come to the color of it, and what in an interview with us, Ravinder Reddy was talking about the identity, the politics of color, and also the role of color in the history of sculpture, and especially in the context of modernism and contemporary art. But compared to the other one, the hair looks different here. If you have noticed, there are these golden braids here, which is parted. So these are the kind of minute differences which Reddy brings into each of his heads. So they may appear similar, but they are not. None of them are similar in the way we think about it. All of them have very unique characters associated with it, in terms of their hairstyle, in terms of their facial features, in terms of their earrings, and again, the gorgeous, the headgear or the head bun, which he is known for. And here you can see in the background there's this red colored head bun that has been created for this sculpture, which has been decorated using these diamond like small constellations behind the head. And there are these two pins that are also attached to this if it's visible in the sculpture. So one thing when we talk about sculpture and color, we have to understand is that throughout the history of sculpture, especially when it starts with modernism, there is a kind of a faithfulness to the medium. So the bronze appears as the bronze looks like. A stone sculpture appears as it looks like. A marble sculpture appears as it looks like. But if you look at the history of sculpture, sculptures were generally polychromous in nature. They were painted. And most of the sculptures were not supposed to be displayed without painting them, whether they are religious, whether they are meant for commemorative purposes. And we have forgotten that history because modernism has been so dominant on our brain and on our visual imagination. That is where there was a certain kind of forced pedagogic dominance of monochrome that kind of dominates the art practice. And Reddy was again one of those early artists to break that. And he not only brought color to the sculpture, but he also moved away from certain conventional mediums. So he moved away from like bronze sculpture, bronze, wood, stone, and started working with industrial materials and also with industrial colors in his practice. And this here again, the color, what is the color here? What does it denote? Is it about identity politics? It is about Ambedkar right politics. It's the blue is it signifying that the person is from a marginalized community? Or the blue is also signifying that it is a religious kind of connotation to it. That's again something which is open to discussion, and it kind of takes the viewer or the different kind of viewers to associate the work at different levels. But what gets complicated here is the way we associate colors with identity. I don't think that colors are provisional in nature. That if at one point of time we associate one color with something or a political movement, that may eventually change. So the provisionality of color, but also its importance in defining identities is what Reddy is kind of showcasing us. So again, the drama of the sculpture is quite evident here. And what is also fascinating is the kind of a prominent cheek that appears here and also the chin that is there. This is again the best example of Ravinder Reddy's facial sculptures. So this is the third gorgeous sculpture of Ravinder Reddy in this exhibition. And earlier we were discussing about the colors, but look at the headgear, the floral decoration that is part of this woman's head. And look at the drama, look at the colors, look at the texture, and also how it contributes to the identity of this particular female face. And most of Ravinder Reddy's sculptures, as you know, is known for this kind of elaborate headgears that he painstakingly spends time on and then creates these by looking at real flowers and also by visiting markets, going out for a walk and looking at everyday subjects, women working in the markets, women working in the fish market, on the streets, going out on a walk, coming from various facets of life. But his artwork is a testimony of why artists are also keen observer. And Ravinder Reddy is a keen observer of life and human figures. And here what we see is again an example of that, where this particular face is highlighted and enhanced not only through the facial features, not only through the eyebrows, and not only through the kind of eyeliner here, and also through the earrings and the red lips, but also just using the floral decoration on the head. And as I said earlier also, you have to look at this sculpture from the back side. It has to be seen in a round manner, like you have to circumambulate around it. But this is what contributes also to the drama of this sculpture.